Good evening and welcome to Book Passages Conversations with Authors, or in our case tonight, Conversations with Artists, very talented artists. I'm your host, Paula Farmer. Whether you're joining us live or later in the recording, we do appreciate your support of Book Passage and events like this. We love bringing these to you, and we'd like to keep the quality high like we have tonight. And speaking of events, feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel because that really does help us. And it only takes you a second. Please engage in tonight's conversation by putting comments and questions in the chat. We do love to get to that, and our talented guests will get to your questions as they wrap up their discussion. Well, I got to meet Carell Augustus last month at the Caliba, which is the California Independent Booksellers Association Fall Fest, and I was immediately taken. I was taken in by this beautiful, uniquely beautiful book. I think it's not an insult, and we can officially say it's like a coffee table book. It's an art book, and it's called Black Hollywood: Reimagining Iconic Movie Moments. This book is groundbreaking, reimagining Hollywood's most beloved films, including Breakfast at Tiffany's, Singing in the Rain, Mission Impossible, Forrest Gump, and many, many more. Visionary photographer Carell Augustus has created a who's who of Black entertainers recreating iconic cinematic scenes while asking questions about representation in media. It was compiled over a course of more than 10 years and highlighting more than 65 stars. Carell says Black Hollywood is not just a book for Black people, it's a book for all people about Black people. One of the many impressive lineup of talent gracing the pages of Black Hollywood is Tracie Thoms, and that is his In Conversation partner. I recognize Tracie from her supporting role in The Devil Wears Prada, which I've watched way too many times, but she has wide-ranging success in film, television, and theater throughout her busy career. Tracie's currently a series regular opposite Oscar winner Octavia Spencer on the Apple series Truth Be Told, while at the same time, she has a reoccurring role on Fox's 911 and ABC's Station 19. Tracie realized a long-held dream when she starred as Joni in the final weeks of the historic Broadway run of iconic musical Rent. For Carell, Tracie took on the role of Zool from Ghostbusters, and I'm sure he'll show us a picture of that. When you buy the book, you can check it out on page 179. With that, I'm going to turn it over into Tracie's very capable hands.
Hi, Tracie.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. Is this blurred thing in the background weird?
No, I took mine off only because I had a poster that I wanted everybody to that you signed of it. You're the first person to sign it.
So. Blurred, but it's fine. I mean, I'm here. We're here.
I'm gonna I can hear you. I'm just gonna grab a book so we can show the picture. Sorry.
I feel like I can like blur it less. Maybe I can. I'll go to advanced.
Okay. So people obviously always want to talk about the time and why did it take so long and all those wonderful things.
Why did it take so long?
Well, I have to tell you, you know this. I woke up every single day with this book, the first thing on my mind, and went to bed with the last thing on my mind. So, you know, I wanted to make sure we did it right. Because what you don't want, I'm sure you have this experience with movies and when they premiere and all that, what you don't want to do is after the fact, look back on it and say, you know what, I really messed that up. Like I should have had better support from a publisher. You know, because I was the guy that was about to get it printed at Costco and was going to drive around in my car and be like, yeah, I got it. It's $20. Do you want a copy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And no disrespect for the people that have to do that.
Oh, no, not at all. But yeah, you didn't want to do that.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to
do you to do that. I mean, you have to wait. You have to wait till things happen. I mean, things take a really long time in Hollywood, and I'm sure in publishing as well. We always think things are an overnight success, but nothing's an overnight success. It's at least 10 years in the making, almost everything that you think is an overnight success. So
Right. What do you remember our shoot
I
and when it
do.
was?
I
When
do.
was it?
Our shoot was in 2012. I want to say
Is that
like
right?
September or something like that.
I have to look at all the pictures and see the date that the metadata has on it. I do
Yeah.
remember this. I don't know if you remember. We were at a party in Malibu, and I saw you. I knew who you were. I just didn't. We weren't really acquainted. At our dearly departed, way too early friend Nelson had a party out there, and I said, "Oh my God, there's Tracie Thoms." But I'm not gonna ask her.
A big house in Malibu, yeah?
It was a big house, yeah, and a bunch of $1 bills, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. That was oh Nelson, we miss you.
Yeah, yeah. What a unique individual. Just the cream of the earth, man.
Yeah.
I miss him. Um, and I saw you in the kitchen, and you're very nice and very, Tracie Thoms. But I was like, this is a party I'm not going to ask her here. And then we all went our separate ways. And then people get really strange about introducing you to other people. So I'm like, Nelson, can you link Tracie and I? He kept saying yes. But ultimately, Paulie, I didn't know that you and Paulie had a connection in a relationship. And Paulie, I think I mentioned him. He goes, "Oh, Tracie's one of my closest friends." I'm like, "Oh my God, dude, I need her for my book. Can you please ask her to call me or email me or whatever?" And he did. And I came up with Zool for you because I just thought that it would be a great shot. And you turned it out, man.
Well, you know what? I remember you having another idea though. So at first it was Shelley Duvall in The Shining was the first idea.
Oh, is that, did I offer you that? Yeah.
Because I'm a horror nerd, right? So maybe people don't know that
Yeah.
horror is my favorite genre.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite time of year, by the way.
Right. Halloween.
I mean, I love Christmas too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like a sadist, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I remember being in the car in my garage talking about it. Like, hey, I was thinking because you love horror, maybe The Shining, that other iconic shot on the other side of the Here's Johnny shot when she's against the wall with the knife.
That's right. Right.
And I was like, maybe,
Yeah.
and then you were like, but also maybe there's Zool. And I'm like, wait, so Dana as Zool, I think I'm gravitating towards that more.
Yeah, I don't know how we teased your hair up that high, but kudos to
that was my friend Leah Dempsey. She teased that thing within an inch of its life. I don't know how we got it back to where it's supposed to be. But she teased that thing. She was like, I got you.
Yeah, she was very, very good. She also has been supportive throughout the interim, because I know a lot of people were like, I used to get embarrassed to see people I shot, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. You were longer, because I knew that they were like, dude, what's going on? What's up with the book? I'm like, man, what can I tell you? I'm trying.
Right.
I'm out here working. I remember.
You gotta show the photo. You gotta show that photo
of you
talking about it without in context. So we have to give the people some context of what we're talking about.
Yeah, you're on 179 and 180.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Wait.
Oh, there she is.
Killing it.
Tracie only Zool.
I mean, Tracie, look at those legs.
I know. I miss those legs. Those legs were 12 years ago. I was in the gym today. I've got to get. Now I'll put myself out there. I'm like, I was at the gym today. Like, I got to get these legs back.
Yeah, and another one of my favorites, which there's an Easter egg, and if I told you, don't say anything. But people think that the 2020 on the door is about the year, and it's not. But did I tell you what it was? Don't say it. You do know, right? I told you.
You told me, but I have forgotten.
Oh, okay. Well then,
What was it? It's something so obvious too.
Yeah. Don't say anything. Yes, it's true.
I won't.
So that's what I keep telling people. There's a few Easter eggs in there that I wanted to put out. If you look at King Kong, if you look at it in the book, first off, did you get a book the other day, or did you get?
No, I didn't.
So they're going to send you a whole package.
Okay.
Of a book and some other stuff, but I'll put you on the email with Brittany so she can mail it to you.
Okay.
But if you look at the King Kong image and you growl at her or make a face, then you actually become King Kong, and her reaction is reaction to you.
Oh. How does that magic work?
gonna show you.
Well, I mean, I have to try it now. I got to growl at the book when I get it.
Speaking of which, did you have fun the other night at the party?
Oh, I did. I did. It was
Oh
glorious.
my God. It was so much love. It was the moment I dreamed for. Everybody was just, it was like love, man. It was just phenomenal. Here you go.
So how does this work? Well, if you growl, oh, I get it. Oh, I get it now. Yeah. You're holding it like this. I'm like, is there a mirror? Is there some kind of reflective surface? Oh, it's just you're holding her like that. Yes.
So yeah, I also remember from that shoot, and this is before I started like recording everything. You guys doing Seasons of Love at the end of the shoot, and the line. It was like I forget who I was there, but it was a line, and you led the whole thing. Do you remember that?
I do. We just did a whole bunch of Rent after that. I remember Paulie not crawling across the floor, singing "Will You Light My Candle." Idiots. I mean, like at that point, we were just giddy off of the fact that we had just gotten this done. You know what I mean? We were just
yeah.
We were very excited. We just had made it a party.
Yeah, it was fun. I was just, every single one that I finished or completed was just like, it really truly was a dream. It was like the perfect storm. Some people made it more easier than other people, but I just did some NPR interviews, and they just wanted to know about the process, and they wanted to know about A-listers, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we know what that means, but this for me was about a creative vision coming to pass.
Yeah.
And, chasing A-listers. If I had every single one in Hollywood, I don't know, maybe I'd have 12, 13 people, maybe. And I don't even know what that means, because I look at A-list as something like completely separate. I mean, to be the star of stage, TV, movies, music, like what's more than that? And what's the standard? And I think that Black actors, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, we vacillate. Like, is Monique on the A-list still? Is who? But George Clooney will always be on the A-list. Julia Roberts, no matter what they do, they're always on the A-list, and that's sort of a message behind this as well.
Yeah, well, there are only a handful of A-list Black actors. You have Will Smith, of course. You have like.
But is he still? Because you know what happened.
He still is. I mean, I think he is. I mean, he definitely shook his foundation with that, but A-list is can you sell a movie internationally? Basically, was right. So, I mean, people are gonna still see Will Smith movies. He just needs to take a break. He needs to sit down for a minute. He needs to go lay down,
reflect a
take
little
a
bit.
nap, reflect on some things and some choices in his life.
Yeah.
Get some needed help, whatever that's assistance and support that he needs. And then, 5 years from now, we're going to watch Will Smith movies, I think. You know what I mean? And that's saying something for me, because that moment was so, we were together for that moment.
We were together. It was traumatic.
And it was traumatic for me because Chris, in addition to everything that we're looking at and the pinnacle of what we see, I'm not gonna get on this too long because it's under the world, but we're seeing Will achieve something that we've all seen him reach for since Ali. Since he didn't win Ali, we know Will Smith has been trying to get this Oscar, and you see him try and try again with these movies where he's like acting and crying and reaching. He's doing Pursuit of Happiness. He's doing 7 Pounds. He's doing all this. He's doing all this stuff trying to get this Oscar. So this is his moment. We're all rooting for him.
Right. 100%.
Rooting for you.
Right. We were all rooting for you.
We're all rooting for you. So then it's like you see this man just destroy
all
the thing that he and we all feel like family too. So we're both our family. Chris is our family. Chris is our little troublemaker little brother, you know what I mean? And Will Smith is the the charismatic in the family, maybe she'll play cousin or something like that. And you see these two people who we've known for so long and loved for so long. Embroiled in this controversy. So, and because there are so few, and because this is going to, like, if Joaquin Phoenix or somebody slaps somebody, it would be terrible, but we're not like it's the end of his career.
Right.
Maybe. No.
Right.
Bounce back is way quicker for
Yeah.
what.
Let me ask, do you think it had an effect on Black Hollywood? Because everything is like, oh, you like when you grow up in Black households, they're like, don't take that out of this house.
Of course, because there are all these stereotypes and ideas about who we are as a people and that we're innately violent and things like that. And it just
Yeah.
reinforces that idea.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not fair. And it brings up ideas of, masculinity, what that means in the Black community specifically, what that means for men right now in this world, and blah, blah, blah. So it's a bigger conversation. But just getting back to your question about A-list, who even is A-list?
I understand that. That makes sense now because I never really understood.
Yeah, is Denzel A-list? I think he probably is A-list.
Yeah, of course.
Halle Berry A-list still. She's always been considered A-list, but when's the last time she had a hit movie?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
remain A-list, so and I think it speaks to why this book is necessary, because we don't get these opportunities to see ourselves in these kind of big blockbuster movies, that aren't about Black trauma and Black pain. You know what I mean? Black movies tend to be about how hard it is to be Black.
Right.
Not about a spy trying to save the world, or I'm just a girl trying to meet a boy. We don't get to do those movies. We get to do pain and the struggle of being Black, or we get to do things like we're the friend of the white girl who gets to go through fun stuff, and we're just yeah, girl, go girl, call him, girl, whatever. Which was my career for a long time, and some would argue it still is my career. A lot of it is just being the helper to the white people who get to actually go through the things,
Yeah, first off, you are for me, the epitome of what Hollywood is. You're incredibly talented. You sing, you act your ass off. And more than that, I was thinking about this today. I'm so happy that we have become friends, because you have this notion in your head about how you can't become friends with somebody like you did in 4th grade, where you say, hey, do you want to be friends?
Let's be friends.
Which would be really great if we still could do that. But we can't.
Do that. And it's not always good.
But the way you just embrace people and bring them in and treat them like equals, it's impressed me for a very long time. So thank you very much. I've told you that before, but just thank you, because it makes such a huge difference, and it makes me feel personally that I could conquer all these things. And I don't even know if you're aware that happens, but I just want to thank you for that, because your friendship means a lot to me, and your support for this book. Even though you gave me some grief every now and again about the timing,
because you needed somebody to kick your booty and be like, "What are we doing? Where's the book at?"
Right, which is why you had to be at that party. I'm like, this party is not happening.
Well, I know. And then you were all stingy with the images and wouldn't show nobody the pictures.
Right. And you see why, because I wanted it to have this major impact every day, and I'm really grateful for this. BET has picked it up, EW has picked it up, Yahoo has picked it up. I don't know if you know this, but it was in the LA Times, both physical and digital. So it's just been, and this is what I wanted. And now that the images are just getting out, and people you get to experience it for the first time, because you saw your picture for the first time, I would imagine, last couple Saturdays ago.
Well, in person, yeah. You showed me a picture of a screen of it, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Showed me a photo of it on a computer, so the image was small. So I got, I knew what we were trying to accomplish on the day, and I knew trying to contort my body. It's very hard to sit like that.
Yeah, it's
the body was cramping. It was painful, Sigourney.
Right.
But also, Sigourney got to just be fluid with it. She was moving the whole time. She'd have to sit in that one spot for a long time, because
she'd have to sit in that one spot, and I'm sure she had a choreographer
and still pictures.
Yeah, a lot of the shots, people don't realize that it's really hard to get your body to do and hold it.
Like the fair
hold it for 40, 50, 60 frames. Yeah. And you have to take a break, and I'm like, okay. And then your body naturally gets tired. So now you're leaning out of it. So I'm like, oh, that didn't work. We have to go back to the original. So you got to suck it up and pull it and all that. Those legs, Tracie.
And I mean, pointing these feet for that long a time. I mean, a friend of mine is a dancer. She's like, I never knew you had those feet.
So let me ask you this, because I think the people, why did you say why? And let me say this. I have said this many times in my book tour, that nobody I asked to do this book, nobody has asked me why. And I feel like I think people, we get it.
You know why.
So I want to know why you said why and what you think about what I just said. Why you said yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, did I say why? No, I said because I got it immediately. You know, those of us who are actors, you know, particularly our generation, the generations before us, because we're the same age.
Yes.
We kind of.
I'm older than you are.
By like a month or two. Come on, like
July, August.
Yeah, I'm like right before me. If you want to be technical, you Google. But and I see you see the questions in the chat.
I don't see the questions.
The questions in the chat are, we're going to cover this right now. Jake says, how did you come up with the idea for the book? So it's kind of, I think we kind of fold this into this thing. So what we ended up doing, what we had to do to be actors coming up in like the 80s, in the early 90s, before there was kind of that cool surge of 90s movies with Black people in them, was that we just had to we had no examples of what we wanted to do.
Right.
That people look like us. You know what I mean? People are like, oh my God, did you always think you're going to be on TV? Did you always think you're going to do movies? No. I was trying to act because I just thought it was fun, and I wanted to get cast in the play, the dinner theater down the street, because that was all that was available to me.
Yeah.
And that was all that I thought. I couldn't even think, unless I was going to be on the Cosby Show.
Right.
And then you age out of the Cosby Show, right? The Cosby kids were already cast.
Right.
Unless I'm a new friend of Vanessa. I'm in Baltimore. You know, there wasn't a path for it, really. It was just kind of like a dream with no examples.
No examples.
So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I want to be a movie star when nobody looks like me. And it's not even anything you realize you're doing. You don't know. It's like this, people talk about representation and how important it is. We didn't know we didn't have representation. It wasn't anything to talk about. This is just the way the world was. White people got to be the movie stars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could want to be a movie star all I want to, but there's a thing in the back of your mind. We're like, I can't. That can't happen, because it just doesn't happen. It's just not done. You know, so we grew up watching all these movies, you know, watching all these iconic moments, wishing we could be.
That's right.
And these iconic moments with no reinforcement that we could be in those movies, because even still, we are struggling right now, because people are like, oh my God, there's so many movies with Black people. Yeah, about Black pain, Black struggle, Black historical movies about how the first there's one that's coming out, like a jet fighter, you know?
Yeah.
It's like why we're still making these movies?
Yeah.
About like slave revolts and Emmett Till and things like that. Now, mind you, those things are important. That's like all we have. And what's happening with these movies about Black people is it requires you to be Black to be in the movie. It's not about a movie. It's not a movie about a person that happens to be Black doing things.
Yeah.
And only a Black person can play those roles, because it is an innately Black story.
Right.
So, and more of those are being told, sure. And that's great. But I just look forward to a time when we can be in a movie where it's not about our Blackness.
Right.
I'll bring my Blackness no matter who I play.
Right.
Because I'm Black, and that's my experience. I'm gonna use my humanity, right? But now require me to be Black and explore my Blackness for educational purposes. I don't know. Which is why Will Smith is the star that he can be, because he can do things like Hitch and be an international hit. Hitch doesn't require him to be Black. He is Black because he's Will Smith.
Right.
Which is why him being in Emancipation is such a big deal and playing a slave right now.
Oh yeah, I want to see that. I saw the preview for that. It looks really intense. But it buttresses your point. I said, because I've gotten some hate, not obviously, but I've definitely gotten some hate. And I always said me and my cousins were like these kids watching Dukes of Hazzard, cheering for a car called the General Lee with a Confederate flag on it. And nobody cared how it was going to affect us, because we weren't the demographic. They didn't care.
But we watched it. Black people loved. The song was just the good old boys. I mean, it really was like, this is not for you. He was
You
taking
didn't know.
it,
You didn't know.
loving
Yeah.
it. I tried to jump in my window, the car window, my parents' window. Every time I had skid marks all over the side of the car from my
With your
sneakers.
Daisy Dukes on? With your Daisy Dukes?
I was too young for Daisy Dukes, but you know what?
Uh,
It probably worked. I mean, I was little. I had shorts. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get in the car. You had no idea the people that this TV show was about
yeah.
and the culture it was about.
And the culture was about. And
And
nobody cared.
that culture of hate and slavery.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You know, cowboys and Indians, we always wanted to be the cowboys because that's what we
the
were told.
Cowboys. We didn't know what, the Indians are bad people. Hold on, I'm looking at these chats. Hold on. Did you get all the shots of the movies you wanted for this project, or is there Black Hollywood Part 2? Do you want to get to that later?
Oh, I can do that. There's a part 2 for sure. There's a part 2.
Can people come back?
And people are coming. I'm hoping that a lot of people come back. And then hopefully it won't take 12 years. Yeah, so that's exciting. And I always challenge people to this. My cousin, I was in Texas having a conversation about the book, and my little cousin, who's like 22, told me how not seeing herself reflected back to her really still messes with her today. Because the girl who always gets the guy, the people who always win and triumph in the end are these really pretty, mean girl type girls. And I said, it made me think, I cannot think of one movie, and maybe there is, and you can tell me, where a Black girl is crowned the prom queen. I mean, and just think of the implications of that. There's a lot of movies about proms and homecomings, but the girl is always the same.
Some now, I'm just not watching them because I'm out of the age range for them. I think now there's movies that are happening like that. There are a lot more Black girls in these teen movies now.
Oh, really? Okay. And maybe I aged out as well because I can't think of any.
No, they're like young movies now, I think.
Yeah.
Allison asked, did you get permission to recreate the images?
No, I didn't need to get permission because I was using the original images as inspiration as opposed to sort of copying them, and there's artistic freedom.
Yeah.
As long as I've seen people do multiple takes on multiple things sold on T-shirts.
Yeah.
So I saw Batman and Robin kissing one time on a T-shirt and in a book. So I was like, no, that nobody's going to give me grief. Actually, I will say this: for the Back to the Future shot, we did not put the font in the book on the picture because I originally had Black to the Future, because that would have opened us up for a lawsuit because of the font. So you had to be really, really careful about what you used. Yeah, and the lawyer had to go through every single picture and make sure that we weren't crossing the line. But no, I did not have to get permission. But if the studios want to sue me, that's good, I guess. That'll raise the profile.
Sue me, baby. Oh.
Sue me, baby.
Do you think you wanna sue me?
Sue me, baby. So they were concerned about that, and obviously nobody wants a lawsuit. So, I do miss.
I mean, I would hope that anybody who did these images originally would look at it as a form of flattery,
right?
Not because you say in each picture what it's from.
That's right.
So you give it's like you stole it and you just took it
and don't acknowledge.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people I've met. So a lot of people that I've met that, like Sharon Stone, I met, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They are really flattered that Jessica Lange, she goes, "Oh my God, I want a picture of this of Rochelle in King Kong's End." So the only one that gave me problems was Faye Dunaway when she thought Kelly was her. She thought Kelly was her, which I guess is a testament to me and my expertise, because the Robin, the PR goes, "That's not you though." She goes, "You delete that right now." I didn't know that she hated that movie. Because the only reason I know who she is because of that movie, but she hates that movie. So
So interesting because
yeah,
that's how so many of us know her in our generation. You know, we weren't watching Chinatown when we were
that's
little.
right. That's right.
We weren't seeing Bonnie and Clyde when we were young.
Right.
We
Right.
saw No Wire Hangers because it was on HBO.
Right. And it freaked us out as kids watching that scene. We thought she was a nut.
Well,
Um,
yeah, you know, you can never, you never can tell. Artists, you know, we're sensitive about our stuff. You know,
yeah, and I get that. I get that. This is
you,
also the same. This is also the same person that read the wrong name at the Academy Awards. So it's not like she has a history of paying complete attention to
yeah,
things.
I knew her for a minute. I knew Faye Dunaway for a minute, and it was a wild moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
something. She's an icon, now, so you got to give it to her. And I couldn't believe. I was like,
Yeah. We talked about. I was really reluctant, and you could maybe touch on this. I never want to put a gun in a black man's hand, and that shot of Rahman Dunbar with a gunshot wound on the table. We had a huge discussion about that. Aldous Hodge and Edwin Hodge about the gun, and I also shot Wesley Jonathan in the park across from the studio with the fake gun, and his daughter was there, and we were very, very sensitive about. We went through the motion with his hand first, and when we brought the toy gun out, it was purposeful, and it lasted for like 30 seconds, then we put it away because we didn't want somebody around to get the wrong idea. We get the cops called, it turned into this crazy situation and a mishap. So
like they wouldn't see you with a big camera and a setup.
oh, they don't see that till after the fact.
They
Come
don't,
on.
they don't see it. Oh, I didn't see you right there. Camera. This is a photo shoot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah, because somebody misinterpreted what we were doing there. And it was just so I sort of vacillated a lot with my emotion with this because you find yourself with, in
Yeah,
tandem with Oscar So White.
because we are burdened with all of this. Paul, is this a clean show? That's what I really think. While I'm waiting to find out how censored I have to be. Speaking of exclusion, so much of the film industry is who you know and who you're related to get a foot in the door. That's another level of gatekeeping, making it even harder for Black and brown actors. It's systemic racism with a specific industry. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't have the access. You know, I was lucky.
Even somebody as successful as you still feel
No, I
see it.
mean, another thing that I have going for me though is my father was the vice president of programming at PBS for a while when I was okay, I don't have to if I want to say a curse word, I can say it.
Oh, we
Oh,
can say curse words? Yes.
say curse words, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want a glass of wine, you can have that too. We getting drunk.
I need it for my nerves. Is
I
it a
know.
clean show?
Wait, hold on. Hold on, stand by. I have some rosé here.
Yeah. So I'll talk while you're doing that. So I just feel like I went today and prepare for this conversation to the article that was done on Entertainment Weekly. And I went to the comments and the hate, this doesn't even exist, but they said this was blackwashing. They said Black people need
Wait! Wow!
They said Black people need to be more original. What if we did a book called White Hollywood? Can you imagine how people would be up in arms?
A book called White Hollywood because y'all are Hollywood.
I took a picture. There's a picture of my book at Barnes and Noble down the street, and the way it was positioned, it was my book, and then all the rest of the books about Hollywood. And I said, I'm going to keep this picture for the next person to ask me, quite silly, and what if I did a book called White Hollywood? It's like that. You are the default. You don't have to call it that because the reason I had to call it this.
You already have.
Right. And they know that.
Things.
They know that. But that's the quickest thing they can say without offending you or looking a certain way.
You know what? Crazy stuff. First of all, what I was about to say earlier was my father was a senior vice president of programming at PBS. So I grew up on running around TV studios and things like that. So I've always kind of been around the business a bit. But I still had to work my ass off. You know, I mean, as a kid, yeah, my dad could get me the local commercial or something like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of there. Um, but yeah, I started acting training and acting when I was 9. Um,
And commercials.
almost 40 years, you know.
Wow, Tracie, that's amazing.
Of me, you know, but I wasn't doing anything, you know, like Eugene Bird, who's in your thing, he's actually been acting professionally since he was 7, doing commercial stuff. I didn't do anything in what that anybody would have seen until after I graduated from grad school. So I started like with a local theater when I was 9, and I did all that stuff. I went to high school performing arts. Then I went to Howard University and I got my BFA there. I studied Shakespeare at Oxford.
Wow.
And then I went to Juilliard and I came out in 2020, no, 2001. 2001, but it's been 21 years. It's my whole point. It's
Yeah,
been 21 years of me being a professional actor where you would have seen me do some stuff. Um,
right.
and I've been working hard at it all this time, even though I have a father in the business.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah, you have to.
took me that much work
Yeah,
to get here, to get to being a supporting actor
yeah,
on, you know,
yeah.
there's still
And
a
are there, do you still get to, will you go out for the main leading?
rarely, because also what happens and we're getting a big deep conversation. What happens with black leads? They have to literally be the most beautiful woman on the planet. They have to be gorgeous, you
And
know.
that's not you?
No, we don't. No, I'm girl next door. I'm Reese Witherspoon. I'm Renee Zellweger. I'm like, you can have that career as a white girl and be the quirky girl next door, and you end up getting the guy, and you get to be the lead in the movie. We don't. You have to be Gabrielle Union. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
Gabrielle Union. You know what I'm saying? I love you. That's my girl.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but she's gorgeous. You know, and her brand is like beauty.
Yeah, I got you. I see
You
what
know
you're
what I
saying.
mean? And she has to fight to do movies where she's not beautiful.
Right,
Right?
right,
Just new
right.
film coming out where she's being very like whatever, and I'm so proud of her for doing that, you know. But
Yeah.
you have to be Halle Berry. You have to be the most beautiful Vanessa Williams, the literal beauty queen. You know what I mean? You have to, you know, and those of us who are like more quirky, you know, it's like, oh, you could be the best friends.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
You
Yeah,
get to be the best friends.
right.
You know, people are like, well, where people ask me this all the time. They're like, well, you've been you know, we appreciate you or we like you or we're fans of you. Where is the thing where you're the lead of? I'm like, are you producing it?
Yeah, maybe we should.
On in the rooms with scripts like, okay, this is a venue, this is a vehicle for me. They're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
I
remember,
stack of scripts, stack of them. Like, well, this is my rom com, this is my horror, this is my this is my. Let's do something together. Like, okay, great, you're cute.
how
How
about
about we
Tyler
play
Perry? Has he,
this?
I know we
Yeah.
all can't, we can't just rely on Tyler Perry to bring us,
No,
or Lee Daniels.
listen, if I were to audition for a Tyler Perry movie, I would not be hired because that's not my it's not my demographic, you know what I mean? And it's not my style. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a genre. It's a genre of film that he makes. And that is wildly successful and represents a lot of people, but I just don't fit in it. If you notice, I don't
Mm,
do a lot of black stuff. Like
mm,
black people don't hire me. I'll go in, they're like, you're cute. You're not black enough.
right. Oh, I got it. Yeah, yeah. I remember you talking
Okay?
about that. Yeah.
I'm not black
So
enough. I come through the church tradition, for example. I'm not like I'm just really. I grew up in a suburban middle class uh, family, and if you want me to act like I'm from a different place, I can do it.
I
But
know you can.
I'm a be next to somebody who actually has that experience, and you're always going to gravitate towards someone who has a lived experience.
Who has that
Going to be
experience?
more
Yes.
authentic than someone who acting like it, and that's not.
Right.
That's just no matter who you are, black, white, whatever.
No, it's true.
Experience, it's going to be, it's going to feel more authentic in the room.
Yeah, you know what? That makes me think of Tandy Newton in Four Color Girls. Like I could tell she was trying to act like she was from the hood. And I think that was supposed to go to somebody got pregnant. Was it Mariah Carey or something? Somebody got pregnant and ultimately couldn't do it.
Yep.
But when I saw Tandy, who was born in Great Britain, it was obvious that she was trying to act like some American girl, black girl that grew up in Jersey or something like
It's
that.
been a few times with Tandy. I think Tandy finally was like, no.
Yeah.
I've seen her do it
That,
a couple times. I'm like, I mean, good for you, but it's like, I'm not going to go and play a girl from South London
right.
and beat out girls from South London.
It's true. Yeah, because it's more than just being there, I suppose. You have to bring your true self to
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, and yeah, of course, we all want to stretch and do character work and stuff like that. You know, and that's acting. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what rings true is what rings true. That authentic lived experience is usually going to win out unless you're a name.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh yeah, you can do that, and it's like, no.
Yeah. I remember one thing that stands the week that we shot, I still shoot for USC because I'm shooting Ryan Coogler in like 2 weeks. And I guess the director of Looper went to USC.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go shoot that screening there, and they come on stage to ask all these questions. And I saw you in Looper. I didn't know you were in it. So I think I said, oh my God, I'm watching you in Looper and I want to see you like tomorrow on set. That's crazy. And that's still it still gets to me. I mean, I come to your parties and Tracie, everybody wears the camera. She throws the best flipping parties in Los Angeles. That your birthday party, the happy birthday down the stairs, there's nothing like that I've ever seen. So, so thank you. So I'm walking through your house and I see all these people from TV shows that I literally just watched. There's a guy last time from Dahmer, and I forget.
Two people from Dahmer.
Was at your party? Yeah. And my most Hollywood moment to date ever, and I've been in LA since 2001. After
Black Hollywood though.
The most Black Hollywood moment I've ever had.
A black ass Hollywood moment.
Yeah, black ass Hollywood moment was watching Sydney and Sheree from House Party come into your house party, and y'all do the dance from House Party with AJ and Tisha Campbell. Come on.
And of course you got it on camera. Of course.
And I got it.
Nobody
was all nervous. I'm like, how do you not get this? And I was like, maybe Tracie doesn't want me recording in her house, but I could not let that moment go.
Rules like that. I don't have rules like that. I mean, like, I just feel like me being a party thrower is something, not saying new in my life. I mean, like the last maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
They were small at first. It was for like just us. Like, let's do a 20s party. It's just like 10 people here doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was always like with Halloween and things like that. I'm like, well, I'm an actor. I dress up all the time, and I'm not really into Halloween. But then I really just kind of leaned into that part of myself and accepted me for the goofball that I am, which also leans into this Black Hollywood book that makes me predisposed to want to be involved, because I throw these theme parties and it gets everybody's chance to really be the thing that they want to be.
Yeah, right.
So like I've done like a 90s party and it was like 1993 and that thing, and I've done like a teen movie party and people could pick whatever teen movie they want to be. Of course I picked Carrie because that's on brand.
Yeah. Don't forget about the pajama party.
Pajama party was the one that Sydney and Sheree came to. That was pretty easy. That was like, I'm just gonna do a PJ party, a pajama jam. But
Jammy jam.
I did a block party this year for my, rep your set.
Yep.
People get ready. They're asking me months ahead of time, like, what is the theme, so I can be ready.
It's a thing, Tracie. You have created a movement.
Well, it's just so people can have fun. This town is stressful.
Yeah, it is.
Stressful. It is the most desperate town, I think, on the planet. There's a desperation in this town. It's a lonely town. Everything is far from each other. You can't run into people. In New York, there's a feeling of like, we're all in this together. We're all smushed in here together. We're all in this together. You go to an audition, you're like, let's get some coffee afterwards. Okay, great. And you go and you eat, you reconnect with people, and it's like a family reunion. Here it doesn't happen. You get in your car and you sit in traffic for another hour and a half, and you're all in these little bubbles and you're isolated from people, and you don't run into people really unless you run into people at a party.
Yeah, that's true.
So I try to create a space where people can come together and maintain connection while having fun. So it's bigger than just let's have a party.
No, I get that.
Because it's work. They're not cheap to do.
I'm sure, yeah.
Charge a cover. It gives me joy to provide space for people to connect. Carell, I had this couple in Grand Central Station, I think in New York,
Yeah.
walked up to me and they're like, "Hey, you don't know us. We met at your house." And I said, "Oh, my house is not that big, by the way, guys. I mean, it's fine. It's not like,
So you stuffed a lot of people in that house.
I
And now
stuffed
you
a
have,
lot of people in. I know it's been hard with COVID. Then we spilled onto the street. It was behind a black party.
well, I'm always down for the hot tub. So just keep that in
Oh
mind.
no, I know it's here. It's here. It's here.
Yeah.
For you, whenever you could get off this thing and come over right now and jump in. But they were like, "We met at your house, and we're engaged, and we're expecting a baby."
Oh, and they met at your house.
Yeah,
That's
we have
amazing.
my house is called Lola. We have all these Lola babies. People who've met here and
Yeah.
they've gone on to get married, have kids, and things like that. Because it's just I try to provide a space of love
Yeah.
and acceptance, and I don't have like a videographer here.
Right.
You like I have a photo op, but it's just for you to take pictures that you want and you post it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not a press event
Right.
at all, because I really feel like we need more spaces like that for people to connect on purpose.
No, it's absolutely true. And one of the main reasons why I love coming is because in everything you just said, there's also this incredible sense of camaraderie.
Yeah.
Incredible sense of camaraderie. And it's majority people of color. And I know you welcome everybody. It's majority people of color. And one of the people that I met at your party about a month ago that has just completely changed. Like, he was so positive. He didn't know me. I brought my book because you always have people from the book. So I'm like, I'm going to bring it. They're going to sign it. It's Pej. I met Pej from dude, what an amazing human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, he's just so open. And he was just like, dude, your book is going to do well. We needed this. Show this person, show that person. And I'm like, no. He's like, no, you got to put this out here.
I know. He came to the party.
And he came to the party. When he said he was coming to the party, I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, dude, I told you I was going to support you. And it's just that sense of camaraderie every single time.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about my good friend Pej Vedat. He's Iranian. If you follow him on social media, you will learn everything you need to know about the revolution happening right now in Iran. He's also a brilliant actor. He's on The Old Man.
Yeah.
He's also on City on a Hill right now. And he's also on Dynasty. He's on 3 shows. He's incredible. You may know him from Bones. He was on Bones for years. And he's just wonderful and become one of my dearest, closest friends.
Yeah, he's so awesome. Kelly has a question for you. I think that just popped up in the chat.
I love all of it. And people always, okay, the question is, sorry, you started in the chat. The question is, do you prefer TV, film, or theater? I love all of them for different reasons. I love the time you can usually take in film to really work and craft one moment, because generally speaking, film, particularly if it's a studio film, you have more time, so you're shooting 5 pages a day. TV, you're shooting 12 pages a day. You don't have time to be precious about it. Sometimes there's beauty in that, because you don't have enough time to just think and mull over it and overthink it. You're going.
Yeah.
You trust your instincts. Theater, you have weeks, 4 weeks to rehearse it, and then you do the whole story every night, and you have instant connection with your audience. There's something very electric and kinetic about that. So I love all of them. I don't want to pick. Theater right now it's such a big commitment that it doesn't really fit into my life often. I haven't done a play since 2019. I did Working at New York City Center, but that was a short commitment. And then before that was Falsettos on Broadway.
I came to that. Remember, you got me in, and then we went walking in New York with all your friends trying to find a place to eat. And it was a New York moment. It was, And I see it. So when
play after the stage door,
Yeah. So Jamie asked me if
photos.
If I would show more pictures from my book. He asked me what was my favorite. And I have a few different favorites for a couple of different reasons. And let me explain that, because people always.
He never says mine, by the way.
No, that is not true. I like the hair and the way you're like possessed and the legs, Tracie. You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait to get you the digital file. We're gonna get you like a 1620, like poster size. I think it should just be. That's what I think.
At my house, and people are like,
And
"Why
have
would
it at
you
your house.
take a picture of yourself in your own house?"
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Your
No,
favorite.
it'd be in your room with all your movie posters.
Yeah.
Somewhere. So I think
Give you
so.
shit.
I always like when I have the idea in my head, and then when I'm creating it as it's happening, and then I
After
see
that.
the results, I'm like, that's exactly what I saw in my head. Now with Zool, I don't know if you remember this. I shot you on black velvet because I knew that it was we had to cut it out and light it in such a way that we had to put you in a cityscape. And I like to do everything in camera. Eugene Bird and I always talk about this, and Damo was like, I'm not a digital creator, so I get really, really nervous. But yours came out phenomenal. And I know enough to light things certain ways, so when it comes out, we can drop you on the top of a building in New York City and it looked completely real. So that's why I love yours, because it looks like you are sitting on that ledge. And it just looks so good.
I mean, I can't believe you did that.
So that's one of my favorite. I love Dow M for Murder because Nadine's expression, she looks confused, she looks scared. I love Psycho. And the reason I love Psycho is because I called around to all my friends. I'm like, hey, how can I need to shoot in a bathroom. They're like, no, you don't. Like, go to Home Depot and get a piece of linoleum, an 8x7, that looks like tile. You spray water, you have her scream, you got the shot, and then take the linoleum back and get your money.
Hack.
So a lot of this book came along with twigs and some twine and some sticks, and just trying to make it happen.
I mean, I feel like we just had a door frame and a bench.
Right.
We had a door frame for one shot, and that was it. And then we had the little bit, and I'm like, this is going to be magical, whatever it is.
Well, it's so funny because that door frame just happened to be at the studio when I was going to shoot. And that's why I used it. I'm like, it's here. This is God telling me. When I went to shoot Basic Instinct, I was going to shoot Lauren London like the next day. And I got the studio space, but Sharon Stone is sitting against a center block wall. Okay. Now, I had no budget to do this, and I couldn't afford whatever the wall was, like $850 to be brought to the studio. So I'm driving around that day because I would have done some shots of a wall that you could just drop in. But like I said, I like to do things in the camera. And I'm like driving around trying to figure out how to make this happen, how this is going to happen, see if I could take her to a different spot. And I make a right down Fuller, the studio that we were just in. And as I am passing on the street and look over at Quixote, I saw two guys carrying a center block wall. I hit the brakes like, I put the car in reverse and I parked again. I'm like, hey, whose wall is this? Whose wall is this? And they're like, oh, it's Fabio's wall. So I'm like, Fabio, I know him. I'm like, dude, where's this wall going? What's going on? He goes, oh, we're taking it back. I said, Fabio, I need this wall in stage 3 for tomorrow. He goes, well, when my clients are done, I'll have the guys move the wall to stage 3. You can shoot and just pay us to come pick it up like $100. I was like, done. Isn't that? And that's the absolute truth. And so much came together like that. Like when I shot, I wanted Eugene so bad. I'm like, I don't know if you came. I don't know if you remember all that studio it was the Olympics being shot at Quixote. So they're like, hey, you can shoot it right here. I'm like, I will make it work. I will make it happen, but I have to get it shot. I want to get it done. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And we shot. I moved all the stuff to the right and got his hot white shot. And then that little room they gave us. I
got there during the white shot, so I missed all the moving of.
Oh, it was crazy.
Of equipment, I'm sure.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But listen, I love you. I'm so happy to have you a part of this book. We're going to make history here. And the reception is phenomenal.
No, it is. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think you don't realize, because you have all these haters who are just like, why do Black people have to have anything? Why do they have to demand inclusion? Because you had all this time to remember to include us, and you have proven time and time again that you won't do it left to your own devices. So we have to come up in here.
We have to come up in here and kick doors, and you have to.
And because we're waiting for you to remember that we exist out of the goodness of your hearts. It will be what year? It'll be thousands of years from now. You won't do it. Left to their own devices, they won't do it because it doesn't occur to them. It's not even
That's
just,
right.
I'm just saying, I'm not just saying that, oh, white people are evil. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, it doesn't occur to them because it has not existed before. It's not in front of their faces.
Yeah.
So you have to make people uncomfortable for a while until inclusion becomes the norm. And hopefully in a few decades, nobody will think about it anymore.
And not be scared when they've taken the words like woke and like they want you to feel guilty for wanting to achieve this by scaring you into saying, oh, now you're going to be woke. At first off, it was a Childish Gambino song that it's completely been hijacked. And like
been used as a derogatory term to like vilify the liberal left. You know, and they feel, and white people really feel like we're trying to erase them. And so we can't erase you. You're still the majority. We're not erasing you. We're just like, this is just really showing how reluctant you guys are to share.
Yeah. I was thinking when that question or comment, or Carell, you were talking about how people were throwing hate your way about it. And it's the same people who say white lives matter, you know? It's that
that's
same
Kanye West and
thinking.
Candace Owens.
Kanye West now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink to that. You know what? I read a really good quote that I'm gonna say after I take a sip of my cranberry juice.
Cranberry juice.
We do have to wrap up, you two.
Yeah, we're done.
It was about
29. Yeah, we'll talk forever. You could just.
I know. I feel like I'm at one of your parties, Tracie, and you two are sitting on the sofa.
It feels just like this.
Tequila shots and pickle juice.
Yes, and I wish I had brought my wine. But thank you so much, both of you. This is great. Jamie, I think, had asked to see more photos, but I'm kind of glad you didn't show them because, Jamie, you need to buy the book. And then you can
the book
see
is
all
out.
the photos.
It's available.
Yeah.
I knew he wouldn't show any because he's so stingy with the. He wouldn't show us. I'm in the book. He wouldn't show me myself.
Right.
But Tracie, he's stingy and I want to sell books. So we're fine.
It's going to work. Buy the book.
This is good. It's a win-win. We appreciate this conversation. Carell, you're a visionary. Thank you for doing this. For those of you watching, we have plenty of his book, Black Hollywood, at Book Passage. You can order it online, give a call, or come in to San Francisco or Corte Madera. We'd be happy to put one in your hands. My mother, my sister, my brother-in-law have all claimed theirs. So my
presents.
They're presents. They're going to make my suitcase heavy when I go home.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for everybody who showed up live or later. And you know what we didn't mention, Carell, which is really important, is behind me is this is actually the calendar version.
Calendar, yeah.
Yes, and we can get that into your hands if you're interested in the calendar, which is fabulous. Just give us a call or go online and we can do special orders for the calendar. So I do want to give a plug for the Black Hollywood book and the Black Hollywood calendar, depending on what your budget is, but they're both fantastic. Thank you two.
Thank you so much, Tracie. Thank you so much.
And Tracie, I'm sure my invitation is in the mail.
It's in the mail.
It's in the mail.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Nick.